Hello and welcome to part 4 of our factoring lesson. This will be factoring by grouping. By grouping. No, not the examples, by grouping. Thank you. So what we have to do when we group, we write out everything. If it's not in order, we need to make sure it's in order. And we go alphabetical order by numbers. In color, I want purple. So we're going 2a to the third minus a squared b plus 10a minus 5b. Okay, so I'm going to put parentheses around the first two terms and the second two terms. I'm going to leave the plus sign in the middle. Okay, well. Okay, now I'm going to factor out the GCF of both of these. The GCF here is a squared. So we go a squared. So that's 2a minus b. So we want this guy to equal 2a minus b. So that's easy enough. I'm just going to factor out a 2, and that gives me 5. Factor out a 5, not a 2. That gives me 2a minus b. Okay? And then now the GCF here is the 2a minus b. So we're going to factor out the 2a minus b. And we're going to write down the remnants of the equation. And we have factored that successfully. So let's look at the examples. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put the parentheses around the first two and last two terms. And then I'm going to look for a GCF. So, parentheses. GCF. All right, so this is 7n squared times 6n minus 1 plus 8 times 6n minus 1. And that is 6n minus 1 times 7n squared plus 8. And then we do the GCF again. And then we check our work. So let's look at 104v plus 140v to the third minus 140v squared minus 196v. Now you may notice that there is a GCF in here already. It is going to be easier for us to just do this first. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to change this to a plus sign, and I'm going to migrate that minus sign in front of the 140. Okay. The reason why I'm doing that is because if I leave this a minus sign, I would have to change this to a plus sign so that it would work out. But I'm just changing this one to a plus sign and this to a negative. We're fine. It's an equivalent expression. So I'm going to pull out 100. No, I'm going to pull out... Yeah, I can pull out 100. So I'm going to pull out 100v3. 100 v cubed. That leaves me with v plus 14, and I'm going to leave it at that. $196 is a factor of 14, I believe. That would be really cool if we can just pull that out. So let me get the calculator. Where is the calculator? All right. Calculator. 196 divided by 14 is 14. So I'm going to pull out 14 again. It gives me 14. I'm going to pull out a v. So that leaves me with 10 v minus 14. So now we need to pull out a 2. So we got 100v to the third times v plus 14 plus 28, because we're pulling out a 2. So we're going to multiply this by 2. 28v times 5v What did I do wrong? Oh boy. Because now we don't have something factorable. So we have to go back and finagle this piece. So I'm going to erase all of this. Okay. So we have 100 v to the fourth plus 140 v to the third. I want to get this down to 5v minus 7. I can do that. I pulled out too much last time. So let's look at pulling out the v to the third. So we'll do that first. That leaves me with 100v plus 140. Let's pull out the 20. There's a 20 there. So that leaves me with 5v plus 7. Because 7 times 20 is 140. And 20 times 5 is 100. So now we can do the problem. So we got 20v to the third times 5v plus 7 plus 28v times 5v minus 7. I'm going to pull out the 5v. So I'm going to make this a negative 28. So that makes this a plus and a plus. So that's a negative 28. So then we've got 5v plus 7 times 20v to the third minus 28v. And if you multiplied it out, you would get our 100v to the fourth plus 140v to the third plus 140v squared minus 196v. Factoring by grouping sometimes is hard because you have to finagle it, like you saw me do in the second example. Know your factors is the only advice I can really give you, is know the factors of numbers. Know your multiplication facts. Study those. All right, good job.